Hello, hello, hello! It's me, Psyda, and I've got a good one for you today. Probably click on this video because it's got a title and it's something like multitimbrality, MicroFreak, and you're like, what the hell is he talking about? Well, let me put it out of the way. I know we cannot do multiple timbres with this little thing. It's not even polyphonic. But I'll show you a few tricks that will help us to fake it. And it's not just the automation lanes, there are a few other tricks that will help us with that. So the way this video is gonna go, I'm gonna show you a few examples, I'm gonna tell you what's the idea behind them, and then we're gonna make a patch using some of these ideas. And let's not waste more time. Oh yeah, wait, before we start, I'd like to say I hope this helps you, I hope you find it interesting, I hope you improve on it, and you let me know if and how you've improved it. If you've got any questions, I'll be glad to answer them if I can. So yeah, let's start with examples. First one, it's a type of a grid sound. Yep. And we have a second variation. Yep. So the idea behind it, you step sequence, step record different automation lanes to generate different sounds. Very basic idea. There are a few tricks that I'll share with you later when we work with automation lanes, but yeah, that's the basic idea behind this one. Let's move on. This one. Wait, this one sounds better with a different preset. Yeah, as you see, we have. So I've used the speech oscillator to represent the different sounds. So we have 3 different words: one, operator, and machine. And we've made the sequence 1 operator, 1 machine. And so that's the idea behind it. You come up with an idea of a sequence with different sounds, and you carefully design each of them, again with step sequence. This is slightly different from the grid sound, where you kind of experiment on the go. You design your sounds on the go. This is carefully pre-designed, like before you even start, you know what you're going to do. The next one, let me change the preset to something more general. Oh yeah, this one is good. So you hear 2 sounds, yeah? Listen what's happening now. Yeah. You can smoothly fade out one, and then smoothly transition to the next one. So how did we do this? We used a square LFO. So okay, but before that I need to say the sequence, the 2 melodies, they're call and answer type. And you separate them in equal parts of the bar, or the length of the melody. So we use the square LFO to control the cutoff, and by controlling the amount that square LFO is modulating, we're basically filtering half of the sequence, like 1/2 of the sequence, or by inverting it, we're filtering the other part of the sequence. So that's what the square LFO allows us to do. You can, by changing the speed of the LFO, you can mute different lengths in the sequence. So you can, for example, mute every other note or every 2 other notes, depending on what's the idea behind your patch. Here I believe we're muting, yeah, half of the bar. So the whole LFO is 1 bar, and we're muting half of it. Okay. I'm going to explain this more in detail later, and we're going to actually use this one in our patch. This one. So the idea behind this one is we can use the different. We have 2 sequences, so we can use sequence 1 that contains 1 sound if we don't want to transition smoothly between them, and then we have the second sequence with the 2 sounds. And there is another interesting thing in this patch, which is a sub-oscillator, and the sub-oscillator is the resonance. So now we have a sub-oscillator, now we have a sub, now we don't. For those of you who don't know how this works, by cranking up the resonance, you're self-resonating the filter, which gives you a sine wave, and then you're tuning it with the filter cutoff to the exact note, and from there you key track the filter cutoff, so when you play it changes the frequency of that self-resonating tone, and you have a sub-oscillator. I hope that was clear. Maybe it wasn't. So self-resonating filter, key track, self-resonating filter. That's it. Yeah, simply put. And you have a sub-oscillator. Anyway, next patch. Okay, and then we have the second sound. This is very, very simple, very basic. So we have this basic melody, like sequence, choosing a triangle wave, and then I decided to add a second melody with a sine wave. Very, very simple stuff, so just an example. And this one is good, but I need to change the preset. Okay. What do we have here? We have a kick and bass, a simple old beat, kick and bass. There's a lot of things happening here. Yep. Okay, let me try to explain what's happening. So, the kick comes from basically what we used with the sub-oscillator, self-resonating sine wave, and we're making a pitch sweep by using the cycling envelope. Because the cycling envelope has a slope, we can change the curvature of the slope, and yeah, that's how we have a kick. Also, we use the oscillator sound to shape the transient of the kick. There's some clickiness happening at the beginning to give us better transient, but this is where the good part comes. So we use the square LFO technique to separate the kick from the bass, because for the kick we're using filter sweep, and we cannot have this kind of filter sweep on the bass. So what I did is I modulated the amount of the cycling envelope and the resonance with the LFO, In this way, it's only happening in half of the sequence, which means during the kick. And when we have the bass note, we don't have a filter sweep, and we don't have resonance. So we can have a much cleaner bass. Let me play it to you again. And then we can use, for example, the envelope, and we can shape the sound with modulation lanes. So we use different oscillators, different waveforms, so we get a better bass tone. So yeah, that's basically it. The square LFO technique works quite well for this patch. And that's all. Now let's make a patch. We're gonna start by making a sequence, and so we're going to separate the sequence in, for example, every 2 steps is going to be the next melody. Let's make our first part, the first timbre. I'm going to record something like this. 20 for the second part, 20 for the second part, so this is our first sound. 10. Our second sound, we're just going to sequence it, then we're going to make it. So we have to use the steps to skip it. So we are on the third. Let's do something like and then let's have a low note, so it doesn't get too boring. Let's see what we have. Let's change the envelope. Okay, let's use our LFO to separate these sounds. We said we're gonna have, let's put it on 100% and hear what we're muting. Okay. That's what we need. So we change it. So we have our second melody. Our first melody. Okay. Let's give it a little bit now. Okay, let's design our sounds. For the sake of this video, I'm gonna leave the first sound the way it is. We're gonna shape the second sound, just so we have 2 different sounds. And to step recording, so we're gonna leave the first sound. Okay, this is where I need to explain something, how to use the automation lanes. It took me a while to grasp how it works. You would think that if you change this step, you change only this step, but no, that's not the case. What is happening is, if you imagine a sequence automation lane in a DAW, when you put a note, it's changing. You just put a note in that automation line, and the first one you put, it changes the whole value of that parameter. So let me show you what I'm talking about. So we want to change step 3, yeah? So let's pick, what should I pick? I don't know. If and no couples. 1, that sounds good. So X. Okay, so X. So now we've changed step 3, right? And you think, yeah, step 3, we've only changed step 3. But look what's happening when I'm playing it. Everything is gonna be so X. Yeah. At this point you're like, what is going on? I've changed only step 3, but the whole sequence is with this parameter, with this value of this parameter. So I've only put this value at this step. What I need to do is change the value of this parameter before and after that. So here we have, what was the basic wave? Yeah. Then at this point we change it to so X with 2 steps. And do you see it keeps going at so X? So we've put a note. Now we have to keep adjusting the curve of the automation lane. So step 5 we're going back to so X, 2 steps, and then we're going back to basic waves. Oops, accidentally recorded something. I'll delete it later. Wait, I'm lost where I'm at. So if we start from the beginning, we have basic wave, so X. So X. This has to be basic wave. This one has to be so X. Where is so X? This one has to be basic wave for 2 steps. This one has to be so X for 2 steps. This one has to be basic waves for 2 steps. This one has to be so X for 2 steps. Okay, let's hear what we have. Let me delete this. Okay, delete it. I just accidentally pushed this knob while recording, so we don't need it yet. We have 2 sounds. Wait, actually we'll change something. Let's make 3 sounds. Go here, delete this one. This one. Okay, and I'd like to have a 3rd sound. Chord. So the last note is going to be a chord. Wait, we need effects. We need effects, people. So, there we go. A very basic example of the fake multitimbrality. Hope you enjoy. Hope you have fun. Hope you improve it, make crazy stuff. I think that's all from me. Of course, this is a very basic patch, just to show you how it works. And go and have some fun. Bye bye.